Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I am Abe with MysticGenMara.com, a small town mystic from the middle of Idaho. And today I would like to go a little bit deeper on a topic that I do talk about a lot. I bring it into most discussions at some point, especially metaphysically. And that topic is crystals, gems, and stones. And what my plan is I would like to make this a continuing series where I just talk about a different one once or twice a month. Haven't quite set that down yet. But to start with, we're going to go over the topic and crystal of amethyst. And how I would like to do these is go over a little bit of history, some of the ancient uses, where they've popped up in history, if they did. Some of them are pretty new, and then also go into the metaphysical aspects. And one thing that I've always liked to do when I work with a new crystal is introduce myself to the crystal and then have communication with it. So at the end, I would like to do a short little healing, maybe even 5 to 10 minutes, and as we're bringing in the energy of the crystal, I will channel any messages from the ones that I personally have here, which I do have several, because of course I do. But we'll start with the more historical references first. Amethyst is technically a form of quartz crystal. I mean, if you couldn't guess by the shape of the beautiful amethyst, definitely quartz. Six-sided in its natural forms most of the time, same as quartz. And this crystal tends to be very purple, as in you're not going to find it outside of a shade of purple. I mean, there are people who will claim that is, but it's not actually natural occurring at that point. The color comes from irradiation, impure iron isotopes, and what they classify as transition metals, meaning they haven't quite stabilized, they're in between two states. So you've got a lot of like iron metal concept going on with these guys. Amethysts are tetrahedral atoms, and if you're not sure what a tetrahedron is, a tetrahedron is a four-faced pyramid. You have 1, 2, 3, and 4, and so it makes, this is one of my orgons, but you've got your 1, 2, 3, bottom makes 4, and that's 4 faces. And a standard pyramid technically has 5, because you have the 4 faces and then there's the bottom is the 5th, so it's a 4-faced pyramid. They're very unique in structure, but they also allow for a very rigid and stable crystalline structure. So that's why amethyst has been fairly popular through the years for crystals and carvings, because it can hold its own against most of what people want to do to it. There is such a thing as heat-treated amethyst. This is where we get the concept of ametrine, and when you heat treat amethyst, and this is just something to pay attention to, it can turn yellowish, orangish, brownish, or a combination of those colors. Some places will sell heat-treated amethyst, because it's pretty common, as citrine. So it's always good to double check your crystal sources. And if you're buying citrine, and I have looked on a couple of websites that sell jewelry crystals, they'll say heat-treated citrine. You're buying amethyst that has been heat-treated, and it doesn't affect the amethyst's abilities, but if you're using it for metaphysical reasons, you're not getting the same abilities as true citrine will. So something to pay attention to if you are buying them for metaphysical purposes. The interesting part about it is amethyst is deep and as dark as this purple is. It can fade, and I've personally never had a crystal, amethyst anyway, fade, but it said in a couple of spots that if you are exposing them to bright sunlight or fluorescent light in particular, it will fade out the color. The energy does not leave the crystal, as far as it's still going to be an amethyst in metaphysical terms, but the color will fade from deep purple to more lilac is what I was reading. So again, I've never had that situation, but I also don't leave my crystals laying out in the sun all the time, so the fun part about research is when you find the things that you didn't know about. Or if you're running across things that you're like, well, that's kind of cool. And this next tidbit is one of those. The largest amethyst geode, specifically, is called the Empress of Uruguay. Never heard of this crystal before, and so I had to look it up. This geode comes in standing over 10 feet tall. This is the crystal. It's 10.7 feet tall to be exact. So think about that. If you're a 6 foot tall person, this is almost twice as tall as you are. It weighs over 2 tons, estimated 2.5 tons. That is significant. It is valued at almost $200,000 in 2007. I'm pretty sure that if we got it reappraised now, you're looking at $500,000 or more for this behemoth. It is in a museum. It's not for sale, which I'm not sure where you'd put something that big unless you had a significant mansion, to be honest with you. Which, wouldn't that be a cool thing to have next to your rock fireplaces, a 10-foot tall amethyst geode? If you happen to be in Queensland, Australia, interestingly enough, this is where it has been installed. It is in the Crystal Cave display located in Atherton. If I said that wrong, I apologize. So you can see it there if you're around the area. And that was the last place that I could find it. That was referenced in 2010 article, and I didn't find anything after that. So if it's moved, please let us know in the comments. Move my notes here. Amethyst is surprisingly common crystal. It is found on every continent on the planet, except Antarctica that we know of to this moment, which is why I see it as being exceptionally affordable. I mean, you can find pretty big chunks of it for $50. Like, it's not hyper expensive. And it is literally everywhere. There's huge deposits of it in very specific locations. Brazil, I believe it was not Georgia, South Tennessee area, somewhere around there in the United States. That's all over Russia. There's huge deposits in Africa. So these are the big deposits. That doesn't mean you can't find it elsewhere. I've found it other places as well. You can pick up really nice jewelry type pieces like pendants or pendulums and things like that for as little as $5 to $7. I've seen some really cheap ones when you go to craft fairs. Another reason to go to craft fairs, people always have random jewelry. There's also some synthetics out there, but from what I was digging into, because I didn't realize would make a synthetic amethyst, it just was weird. They basically start out as quartz, then they add the atomic iron or whatever else with certain levels of radiation to trigger it. Low level radiation, we're not talking like uranium's gonna make you glow in the dark. And personally, as I was going through that, I wanted to check in, and as intuitively, I don't feel the vibration energies of the amethyst are any less if it's a synthetic, because it's still starting out from that baseline quartz iron combination. You can take your pick. Honestly, I don't see, just because of its commonality, why you would want to synthesize it. It literally is everywhere, so I bring that up only in case someone is like, ooh, I have synthetic amethyst. Okay. Like, I'm not sure if that's something to be proud of. But, and since we're discussing things that how much they cost and etc., amethyst is not priced by size. For example, this is actually going to be valued less than, I get my fingers here, this. Because of the color, the clarity, like the little guy here, now that he's more upright, is what's called a chevron amethyst. And at the very tip up there, you can see there's a little chevron piece. And this one is a much better, got lots of little ones here. Much better image for the chevron. And these ones are going to be, even though they're smaller, more valuable than this big guy here. Because this one, I don't know if you can see, there's inclusions in it, there's cracks, there's fractures, the back of it is not pretty. So, size is not the dominant driver of price with Amethyst. They value it on the deeper the color. If it when they facet it, if it flashes red, which is apparently more valuable because it means a higher iron content. Some amethyst will actually flash blue, and most of the high-end jewelers will immediately not want that crystal. They will give it to another jeweler to do something cheaper with. So the red flashes are the most valuable to them. The highest sought after purple is a color called Deep Russian. These are almost exclusively sourced from, well, you guessed it, Russia. And they are very rare, and I couldn't find an exact current value on them. Their color is exceptionally deep purple with almost no inclusions or fracture, so it runs true and clean. And this is why just general pieces, like I bought this piece here in a box of like 10 or 12 pieces. It cost me $30, and it was like £1.50. So you're not going to break the bank by picking up a box of amethyst somewhere. And now you can go up in price, but just in general purposes, you're not going to. Traditionally, the Greeks believed that this crystal was good for healing and keeping one level-headed in stressful situations. They recommended their warriors carry a piece of it, generally carved in their patron goddess or god, or something along those lines. They also believed, and this was an interesting one, and sources are mixed, we're just going to go there, that this was actually a gift from Dionysus in a fashion. There's some confusion as to whether or not this story is true, but it was basically a stone or crystal that could prevent drunkenness. Not quite sure how that works, considering the components of the crystal don't vibrate that way, but they did believe that, and a scholar in the 18th century, 17th century, something like that, made up, at least this is the story, a myth about how Dionysus helped create amethyst. There is no historical reference that I could find to prove that. Dionysus is a patron of amethyst as far as the crystal goes, but I could not find a source beyond this one person, and his work has been highly criticized as inaccurate and not right. So, you can take that for what you will. Amethyst is always a color of purple. It was considered to be, in the olden days, like the way old days, a very valuable stone. And I mean, this has been the case for centuries, really. And it was reserved for the higher classes, along with its siblings, diamond. Yes, amethyst was valued at with diamonds for a while. Sapphire, again, that one shocks me. Ruby, which I'm confused why ruby is so high up on the chain. It is a surprisingly common stone. We'll get into that later. And emeralds. So amethyst at one point had a very high estimation of itself. And it was a very illustrious family it was attached to. The high placement though would not last, unfortunately. In the 18th century, massive deposits of this beautiful crystal were beginning to be discovered all over the world, with some of the largest being in Brazil at that time. So then it went from being very rare, very valued, to everyone can have this. Oh, well, that stinks. But purple has always been a color of royalty, going back to the Egyptian period, so I mean, it has a royal air to it, no matter how common it may be today. If you're interested in feng shui, they use amethyst to increase wealth energy. It is referred to in older Chinese texts as a stone to remove daily negative energies. Having it next to the front door is a great way to kind of clean off as you're coming in, things like that. Side note, or interesting note, however you want to look at this, Tibetan Buddhists view amethyst as a stone sacred to the Buddha himself. They will make their mala beads or their prayer beads from amethyst as a way to be closer to the holy avatar, and it also ties into some of its uses we'll get into later, and that's why a lot of meditation practices highly recommend amethyst. Is a lot of it goes back to the ancient Buddhist periods. Amethyst today is considered the birthstone of February and the zodiac stone of Pisces. There are a few others with Pisces, but traditionally the most common associated stone is amethyst. And for those Pisceans born in February, you got purple and you got purple, so I hope you like purple, because that's what amethyst's crossover is. But some of the metaphysical properties of amethyst. Amethyst is classified as a receptive crystal, so its energy is feminine. It tends to draw things to it, so instead of being like I'm projecting out, it's going to draw in. This is the negative side of the magnet, so to speak. It's going to draw things to it. With its Piscean influences, it's going to be Neptune and Jupiter are the base planets. There's some other loose references. I stick with the stuff that's traditional, Neptune and Jupiter. So, and with Piscean, Neptune, Jupiter influences, what would be the element? Water. So it is a very fluid motion type crystal. Amethyst is a stone that if you are having trouble sleeping or you're trying to deepen your psychic intuitive abilities, keep it next to your bed, next to your headboard, or on your nightstand next to where your head is, because amethyst is a stone that can help with improving dreams. It can work with overall body healing, but it starts at the head and works down. Amethyst also can increase, as I said before, your psychic and intuitive abilities. If you are really on the path trying to understand, deepen these skills, or maybe just see what's there as far as like what are your clairs coming forward, amethyst is a good stone just to keep around at that point. The gentle vibrations of this crystal also bring in love, peace, and happiness. Amethyst still carries over some of its warrior energy from the past, because the ancients did believe in its healing abilities and things like that, but amethyst also can aid in protection, which I thought was interesting. And some of the references talk about just emotional protection, some say physical protection. Is protection, so however you choose to use protection energy. It also helps to build and develop courage, knowing when to use it. This stone is not going to be forceful. It works with the balance of your life. So protection and courage, if you need it, it's there. If you don't, it's going to settle it. So you've got a balancing factor with amethyst. And there is a rather far-reaching belief, as in it's not referenced in just one culture, it's almost all of them, that amethyst being in the home or carrying it on one's person can protect against thieves and robbery. Something to think about, and I thought it was an interesting tidbit because I've read about that in some of the the European texts, but I've also seen references in recent years to that particular use in some of the Chinese myths, as well as some of the further east, as in Russia, myths. So you can take it however you want on that one, but it is something that they reference frequently. If you're getting into a more sober state, there is there is some loose reference, especially with metaphysical groups, using Amethyst as a way to work through the DTs if you're trying to sober up from any addiction, because it doesn't specifically state any specific one. The older texts would say intoxicants, so it could be the ancient texts would be referencing alcohol, opium, tobacco, things like that. So if you're working on trying to sober up, and it doesn't matter what kind, amethyst is a good stone to carry with you. Placing an amethyst next to your water to help infuse, like say a water bottle here, you stick your amethyst stone next to it overnight, put your amethyst on top of your water filtration system, however you feel led to. That way you're getting that vibe of the amethyst into your water, so it's going to help get that healing into your system, especially if you're trying to work through those other states. It's a way to help support. Can I say it works miracles? No, because we're not a medical channel here. We're a metaphysical channel. So its vibration can improve, but you have to make that decision, type of a thing. The one I will not say with this particular stone is I will never recommend putting it in the water. That's the reason I say putting it next to it is enough, especially if you're drinking from a glass or earthenware container. Amethyst's energy will vibrate right straight through the glass, straight through the earthware, into the water, and raise the water's vibration on that spectrum. And it is kind of fascinating to notice when you drink water from a glass that doesn't have a crystal next to it versus one with it. You can literally pour water out of the same water bottle or out of the same filtration pitcher the same day. Fill 2 glasses, one with one, half full. Set one across the room by itself, put the other one with a crystal next to it, and leave them there for an hour, and then take a sip out of each one. You'll notice a flavor difference. There's nothing else that's changed. I have tried that multiple times. I cannot figure out why it works, but it does. So, something to think about. Amethyst is also associated with the third eye and crown chakras. This is going back to its use in spirituality. Using this stone with meditation work can help quiet the monkey mind. It can help bring your anxiety into a more stable state. Now, is it going to fix it all together? I can't say, probably not, but it can at least make you more aware of how to deal with it better. And the stone has no negative uses. There are some crystals out there that have a positive aspect and a negative aspect. When we get into the more purple, violet, and white stones, the negative tends to fade away very rapidly. This particular stone is not one that can accept to be around negativity. It cleans it too fast. It is an exceptionally high vibrational stone, and in a lot of modern day texts, and some people will debate this, that's the reason I say most of the time, this is classified as one of the most spiritual high vibrational stones on our planet today. So amethyst may be affordable, which is interesting. It's very common, but it's also very valuable once you understand what its uses and purposes are. It is here, I believe, to help heal and uplift the consciousness of humanity. It is here to help us understand ourselves at a deeper level and how we interact with other people within the world in which we exist. So, now we'll just kind of do a little bit of a quick energy transmission here. I have certain music I like for certain things, so we're going to switch it up a little bit. You can keep your eyes open for this, or you can close them. It's up to you. Make sure you're in a comfortable position just so that you can relax and absorb and accept the energy if you want to. And by watching this, you are giving me permission to send this energy through time and space to wherever you are at. So if you want to take a nice deep breath in, breathe into your belly, and exhale, releasing any stress or tension from the day. On your next inhale, bring in this beautiful purple amethyst energy, filling up your abdomen, Feeling this violet energy filling every atom of your body. Exhale, let any stress, tension, or negativity be expelled like smoke. Take another nice deep breath in, breathing in that beautiful, deep amethyst energy, feeling it flow through every aspect of your body, cleaning, uplifting, and purging. And exhale, releasing all negativity, allowing that smoke to flow out, to be cleansed in the light of the sun and of Gaia. Feeling that violet amethyst energy moving up, we will clean away that negative energy that came out through the breathing with white selenite. We're just going to wipe that away, clear it out. Selenite is another stone that has no negative energy capabilities. It's a great companion for amethyst. And we're just wiping away the stress, feeling that energy flow through you, from your head down through your feet. The amethyst brings forward the crystal activation of your third eye, feeling that crystalline energy touching that point just between your forehead or your eyebrows, just on the bottom of your forehead. You feel this energy flowing in, gentle, healing, vibrating into your pineal gland, awakening, charging, preparing you to open your third eye and bring your energy higher. As your third eye area begins to tingle, we move up from your third eye to the very tippy top to your crown chakra. Amethyst energy works on healing and clearing. Meditation on the crown chakra opens up a beautiful 1,000-petaled lotus. Each petal is a lesson of your spiritual journey. The amethyst brings forward light and health, allowing you to grow within your spiritual mind, life, body, and spirit. Feeling this crystalline energy coursing through you, elevating you, healing wherever it feels led to heal. The energy of amethyst speaks, calling forth the divine in you, awakening your sleeping spirit, bringing forth health, wealth, and prosperity. Amethyst calls to your soul to awaken, to enlighten, bringing in the violet flame of transmutation and transformation. This amethyst crystal sends out a violet flame, wrapping your aura in amethyst fire. The crystalline flames wrap you in a comforting, healing, and beautiful globe of health, prosperity, protection. The connection to the avatar of you, whether it's Buddha, the Christ consciousness, Mother Mary, or any of the ancient deities, Isis, Dionysus, you come into connection and alignment with them. The masculine and feminine energy come into perfect balance. The amethyst begins to calm the aura from its flaming protection, settling back into a gentle state. Your third eye and your crown tingle with this new health, this new energy field. Amethyst floods through your body as you inhale, and as you exhale, you release any worries, anything that came up in this healing practice, and we wipe it away with the selenite. Inhale again, bringing in that beautiful violet light. Exhale, allow this energy to be cleansed from you, anchoring the energy of amethyst deep within your being, within your soul, within your aura. And as we bring this energy into a calm and stable state, grounding it where it needs to be settled, anchoring it within. If you close your eyes, you may open them, feeling that vibration flowing through you. And with that, I will let you guys go. There are some links in the description to different amethyst products if you're looking for, if you're in the shopping mood. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below, and I will see you later.